Alright. I forgot to retitle the streams. We're on this side. Natsu Basho 2026 Day 0 Preview Show. Natsu Basho Basho. Not a rerun. Not a rerun. Go live. It's told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kinda dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, they don't start coming and they don't stop 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 coming. That's why you married Shrek, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's got that power lifter build.
He literally looks like you.
He's looking like Brian Shaw. He's a power lifter. I've shown you the video where Brian Shaw's diet, where he like has a scoop of peanut butter with every single meal, and every meal is like 5 steaks and eggs.
Now I remember.
My wife is watching Shrek while we start our journey into the Natsu Basho. But thank you, Raleigh and Revenant Tillywink, for your subscriptions. We're going to wait a few more seconds for more people to come in. While we do that, let's admire the fact that someone almost had a perfect guess on the Guess the Banzuke. He got 40 bullseyes and 2 hits, which means he got 40 people in the right spot and 2 people in the right rank, but on the wrong side of the Banzuke. That's insane. That guy is crazy.
That guy works for the PSA.
Well, there actually used to be a problem where like journalists would get access to the Banzuke before it was supposed to come out, so they would like leak it. I don't know how long ago that was, but that was a problem at some point. Insider training Banzuke games, basically, yeah. But I did say the stream will start at 9:30. We have a couple more minutes left before then. I'm almost completely done with all of my setup for the upcoming tournament. Let's see. Okay, we are live over on YouTube. Thank you, Kwame Kaze, for your Prime subscription, and Mississippi Cajun. Hello again, gentlemen, to our bi-monthly insane asylum. Yes, no Onosato and no Aonishiki is the big news to start, and I guess we'll start with that big news if the page wants to load. So it started off earlier this week with this, a double scare at Arashio Stable. Aonishiki hospitalized and Kirishima with an ear injury. And the long short of it is Aonishiki twisted his ankle really bad during practice, couldn't walk on it, had to go to the hospital. Kirishima blew out his eardrum somehow. Apparently he got smacked in the head and reported a strange sensation deep in his right ear after a collision with an opponent's head. He finished the session with 11 bouts, but played down the severity, saying, "I can hear fine, it just feels a bit odd." So, Kirishima got looked at for his ear. You know, the ear is important. You need balance, and that comes from your ears. Aonishiki, though, it is confirmed that he is indeed down and out. For Onosato, set to miss the entire tournament in his 2nd consecutive withdrawal. His mentor, Nishonoseki, former Yokozuna Onosato, who had to end his career early due to elbow injury, Explained. His condition isn't improving. He's in pain and his physical balance is off. He wasn't able to participate in training. Missing a tournament as a Yokozuna is painful, but I want him to overcome this and grow. He's been sidelined since day 4 of March due to a dislocated left shoulder and withdrew mid-tour during the spring regional tour. Concerns grew when he skipped training sessions before the Yokozuna Deliberation Council on the 1st. We made the decision yesterday. His preparation is delayed since his strength lies in attacking from the left. I want him to reset so he can make a full comeback. Perfectly fair. Aonishiki. Starting the tournament absent while under Kadoban. Mid-tournament entry considered, which I think is a horrible idea, but we'll see. Asakayama confirmed Aonishiki's absence after being notified by his mentor Ajigawa, who is former Sekiwake Aminishiki. Regarding a potential return during the tournament, Asakayama noted that is for the mentor and the wrestler to decide. They can't compete if they aren't physically capable. Ajigawa mentioned that if Aonishiki is undergoing treatment, he said this morning, just walking is a struggle. We are considering a return if the pain subsides, but it's a matter of both heart and body. The judging director, who is Asakayama, former Ozeki Kaiyo, confirmed both withdrawals are due to injury. I believe they are prioritizing their physical health after consulting with doctors. I hope they recover and return to show their strength. Operations director Dewa no Umi, former Ogi no Hana, noted that while the absences are disappointing, the tournament is a sellout. He expressed high expectations for Kirishima, who regained his Ozeki status, and Hoshoryu, who now stands as the lone competing Yokozuna. He also highlighted the promotion of Atamifuji and Kotoshoho to Sekiwake. I'm looking forward to seeing how the two new Sekiwake challenge in the higher ranks. Yes, this means that Aonishiki will need 10 wins in July if he does not come back this tournament and win 8. So it looks like the plan tentatively is for him to rejoin the tournament midway at some point and hopefully get those 8 wins, which I think is a terrible idea and he totally should not do that. So guaranteed, like 99.99% chance he is going to need 10 wins in the July tournament. There are some other news that we will be covering later. A little bit about Enho, a little bit about Asakoryu and Asasuiryu, and also the son of Komusubi and 3-time women's champion, Ikazuchi Stable. Or joining Ikazuchi Stable. But first, we will go over the Banzuke. My guessing of the Banzuke was actually pretty good. I had a score of about 52, but there I am, Leo Dickinson. I still ranked bottom half because, you know, to be fair, a lot of the Banzuke was close to guess. Still have a 7-8 record. I'm never going to have another good Banzuke guess. But to look at the Banzuke and my guesses for that Banzuke, you could see, I mean, I don't think really most people thought Kotoshoho was going to get up there. Kotoshoho being Sekiwake, I didn't think he would get up there. I thought Takayasu would hold that rank, so I just missed those guys by, like, you know, 1 off. I got most of everyone at the top and the bottom correct, but everything in between there. I thought it was interesting they did not drop Wakamoto Haru, you know, to Maegashira 4. They actually did punish him a little bit more, so, you know, just a coin flip between Gonoyama and Wakamoto Haru. Gonoyama got the nod, the 10 and 5 from Maegashira 10. He moves up to Maegashira 4 instead. Shodai sits at Maegashira 5. I got 2 points for that. But then Churano Umi and Chiyoshoma, I got them wrong. They're actually swapped ranks. Chiyoshoma on the come up with a 10 and 5, whereas Churano Umi 4 and 11. You know, I thought maybe Churano Umi was going to fall below Chiyoshoma, but Sumo Association didn't think so, and honestly, that's fair. That was a little ambitious of me to drop Chiyoshoma, or to drop Churano Umi that low. And then I got Fujiseun and Asakoryu at the right rank, but the wrong side. Same thing for Maegashira 8. Oshoma and Asahakuryu, right ranks, but wrong sides. Abi, he was a hard one to call because you know, he left midway due to injury. I dropped him to Maegashira 10. He actually fell to Maegashira 9. And, the person that I thought was going to be at Maegashira 9, Asanoyama, because Abi didn't fall that far, Asanoyama got bumped down. So, all my misses were really close. But close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So, I got the point for Nishikifuji being right rank, wrong side. But Asanoyama, Abi needed to swap them. And then I also got Hakuno Fuji wrong. He actually was Maegashira 11 because Keen Bolzan moved up to Maegashira 10. Keen Bolzan with the 9 and 6 from Maegashira 16. Hakuno Fuji, a 5 win out for injury from Maegashira 7. They actually did not drop him as far, which, we just mentioned a different person earlier not dropping as far as I thought he would. Abi, I thought he would drop farther. He didn't. But then Hakuno Fuji again, I thought he would drop farther. And he didn't, so, so, just a misprediction by me, but Uda and Shishi, I got in the right spots, and then Toki Hayate and Kotoeho, close, again, but no cigar. Tamawashi and Mitaki Yumi, again, close, but I got the sides wrong. And then Roga, Tobizaru, Osho Umi, Wakanosho, Ryuden, and Fuji Ryoga, I got them all perfectly right, so... it's even when you're close in these guesses, it's hard to guess the Banzuke correctly, It's a little annoying. But we'll move on to the next part. I'll cover some more of this news before we get into Kachi Clash, but I did want to bring up one other thing about me being on a podcast, the New to Sumo podcast, earlier this week. Let's see. The New to Sumo podcast. Oh, wow, it got 1,000 views. Very nice. But it's funny that on that podcast, we made our guesses, and we made, who do we think is going to win and all that, looking through the Kachi Clash, and half of it is thrown out the window now due to those injury announcements. So, it's only been 3 days, and it's already out of date. But let's see. I did want to cover a little bit more news. Let's talk about Enho first. Enho, the little man that we have been watching for a long time, the little man that was so inspiring and, helped me get into sumo back when he was in the top division, the smallest Rikishi to ever be in the top division, competing in the top division, finally back to Sekitori status. I cried every day. How Enho overcame retirement, advice to reclaim the Sekitori ranks. Among those stepping onto the dohyo as a Sekitori for the first time in 3 years is Enho, a native of Kanazawa City. Due to a major injury, it was a neck injury, there was a time when Enho struggled to walk. Behind this miraculous comeback lies Enho's burning passion and the unwavering support of his family. Last week, an interview by Kanazawa News at Isagahama Stable. Translated by Italian Ozeki. Congratulations on your return to Sekitori ranks. Tell us how you're feeling right now. While I'm happy, I feel a sense of renewed focus and responsibility. Looking back on these 3 years, it felt both long and short. Truly, every single day was an intense experience. Isn't that just the truth? Enho was once a popular wrestler who electrified the sumo world, drawing massive cheers in the Makuchi division. Despite his small stature, his courage in facing much larger opponents gave hope to many. However, during May 2023, 3 years ago, a pre-existing neck injury worsened, forcing him to withdraw mid-tournament for a full year. Following that, he did not step onto the dohyo at all. I had reached my limit. My body just wouldn't listen to me anymore. My spirit was still burning, so I hoped I could squeeze out 1 or 2 wins, but that one win felt so far away. And that's something that we talk about all the time, it's the sumo spirit is just as important as your physical health. So the fact that his sumo spirit kept on burning and what kept on driving him, that's a great comeback story. For a while, he could barely walk and doctors advised him to retire. My mind just went blank. I couldn't process my feelings. I couldn't keep up with the reality of the situation. I kept thinking, please let this be a dream. I wondered if this was actually happening. I cried so much. I don't even know why, but I cried every day. And yet, as I went through each day, I found little things I could do or new realizations that made my every day enjoyable. First, I went from not being able to walk to being able to walk. Then, I couldn't use chopsticks. But then I could. I could feel the temperature of the bathwater again. Things that were once normal weren't normal anymore, but that taught me the joy of being able to do them. When I got injured, I felt there was a meaning to it. If I quit there, it would just end as an injury. I felt it was up to me to decide how to use that experience, and I wanted to find that meaning for myself. He never gave up, dedicating himself to a rehabilitation for a year. When he miraculously returned to the ring, his name started at the very bottom of the Banzuke in the Jonokuchi division. 2 years have passed since that restart, and he is finally returning to the tournament ring as a Sekitori. While Enho has achieved unprecedented feat that no one else has ever accomplished, which is falling down to Jonokuchi and coming back up. You have to remember, I think it was Terunofuji only fell to Jonidan, I believe. When your promotion to Judio was decided, your mother sent us a message. I'd like to read a part of it. Message from Enho's mother, Yumiko. I think his body was screaming for help even before he withdrew, but he never complained because he didn't want his parents to worry. During the May 2023 tournament, I told myself I would watch him as long as he stood on the ring, but I eventually couldn't bear to look. I messaged him online saying, don't overdo it, and the rest of your life is longer than your sumo career. No matter which hospital we went to, and even when people around him said it was impossible, he kept looking forward, refusing to give up on the challenge. I was scared. While I prayed that his dream of becoming Sekitori again would come true, even after he returned, I prayed more for his injury not to worsen than for him to win. The thought that today might be the last day never left me. Today is the best day. I want to give him a round of applause and tell him you did so well to make it this far. How do you feel about your mother's support? She gave me a healthy body, and I felt so guilty that I broke that body by pushing myself too hard. They give me a strong desire to get well and get better. I think most parents would have been against me continuing, so the fact that they supported me anyway makes them amazing. Carrying the hopes of everyone who supported him, Enho, who has achieved miraculous phoenix-like resurrection, will soon tie his hair in the oicho style, the mark of a Sekitori, and step onto the dohyo for the 15-day tournament for the first time in 3 years. Can you already visualize yourself standing on that ring again as a Sekitori? I'm excited. I feel like this is where it really begins. This isn't the end. It's the start. I finally made it back. I won't know exactly how I'll feel until that moment comes, but I want to step onto that ring with gratitude for all the people who supported me. And even here it looks like he's holding back tears. But again, Enho, someone that I know a lot of fans are a little confused as to why we're following him, because you are more recent joiners to the sumo fandom. You guys have been watching Sumo Food and all these other, sumo stable videos, but Enho was before that time, before he fell. He was, one of the more notable exceptions in sumo because of how small he was. Like, Midori Fuji is popular because he's small. Same thing with, Kawazoe before his injury, Mita. He's not on the same level as, the muscle men that I'm about to cover, like Asasuiryu and Asakoryu, but he's even smaller than that. So, that Giant Slayer, that's right. Thank you for the subscription, Alex Raven. Next, like I said, Asakoryu and Asasuiryu. This article is about how they lost their mother right before the tournament. The brother Sekitori duo, Asakoryu and Asasuiryu, fought with all their might in a place that holds special meaning to them. During the spring Basho held in their home prefecture of Osaka, Asakoryu finished with 9-6, and Asasuiryu finished 6-9. Although they couldn't both secure Kachikoshi, they fought through all 15 days while overcoming profound grief. In truth, on the morning of February 27th, just before the tournament began, their mother passed away at the young age of 58. The brothers expressed their firm resolve to achieve their mother's dream, for both of them to participate in the Makuchi ring entering ceremony together and eventually reach the Sanyaku ranks simultaneously. Tears on the final day. My mother in heaven can say she's proud. In the dressing room after his final match on the last day, Asakoryu wept openly. After revealing his mother's death to the press, a secret he had kept bottled up until then, he covered his face with a towel, unable to hold back the tears. My mother passed away before the tournament, and I fought with the mindset that I had to work even harder, he said with his voice trembling. I promised her I would reach Sanyaku by the end of this year. I will keep doing my best so that my mother in heaven can call me her proud son. That was her wish. Naomi was diagnosed with cancer about 3 years ago. It was already stage 4, having metastasized from the duodenum to the liver. That sounds bad. Asakoryu reflected, "It was right around the time I was promoted to Judio. Even though she was told she only had 1 year to live back then, she fought hard. I'm glad I was able to show her that I made it to the Makuuchi division." To the younger brother, Asasuiryu initially entered the workforce as a teacher after graduating from Nippon Sports Science University. However, a year later, he knocked on the door of Takasago Stable. His primary motivation was to fulfill Naomi's wish. "My mother wanted me to enter sumo. I can always become a teacher again, but I felt I could only do sumo now. I'm glad I was able to show her my form as a sekitori." On the morning of February 27th, 9 days before the opening of the Basho, the brothers received word that their mother's condition had worsened. They rushed their family home in Shijonawate, Osaka. Their mother clung to her fading consciousness, waiting for her sons to arrive. She passed away 10 minutes after they reached her side. Considering we were told 1 year, 3 years ago, she lasted a long time, but at only 58, it's too soon, Asakoryu admitted. During the tournament, Asakoryu had secretly confided his thoughts. By passing away right before the Osaka tournament rather than during it, she was thinking of us until the very end. She used to say, "I don't want my death to hold you guys back." It's no exaggeration to say I've continued sumo just to make her happy. Her final words were, "Ryuma is mentally weak," that's Asasuiryu, "so look after him." She was worried about sumo until the end. "If I became weak now, I can't honor her memory." That's kind of wholesome. While grateful for the fate that allowed them to be present for her final moments, they entered the tournament with fierce determination. Fellow Maegashira Oshoma, a classmate of Asakoryu's from Nitaidai, rushed to the funeral to help carry the casket. Flowers were also sent by the Yokozuna Onosato, who was a junior to Asakoryu and classmate to Asasuiryu. Naomi had dreamed so fervently of her son's success that she had decided on the ring name Asasuiryu even before he joined the stable. She was sent off by many figures from the sumo world who mourned her passing. And then a little bit more about their lifestyle too. A rare upbringing, 1,300 push-ups a day directed by mom. In a rare case for a sumo family, it was the mother, not the father, who imposed a grueling training menu on the brothers. It began when Asakoryu was in 2nd grade. After losing in the first round of a local Wanpaku sumo tournament in the Shijonawate, Naomi bought a punching bag. She mandated that he separately hit it like a tackle and perform 1,300 push-ups every single day. As a result, Asakoryu won the same tournament the following year. At the invitation of officials, he began formal training at Shijonawate Sumo Federation in 3rd grade, and Asasuiryu eventually followed the same path. To support the brothers, a local fan club was established after the Spring Basho. Before the tournament, the children from Shijonawate Sumo Federation visited Takasago Stable to train with them. That's cute. The brothers have grown into the locally beloved wrestlers their mothers hoped for. Although Asasuiryu missed his winning record, his final match against Kitanawaka was full of spirit. He gripped the belt and forced his opponent out with forward momentum. Afterwards, he spoke bravely, without tears. "During the tournament, I tried not to think about her death. Since I couldn't get a winning record, I'll work towards the Makuuchi division next tournament." 49th Day memorial service was held on April 16th, but neither brother could attend as they were on the regional tour in Yokohama. That day, Asasuiryu looked forward. "As long as we are wrestlers, our mother understands why we can't be there. Regarding my feelings, it's been a month and a half, so I have to keep pushing. I have to work hard. I can't afford to stop. The journey to repay their mother, who was strict, scary, and yet raised them with deep affection, is only halfway complete." That's so cute. Very sad, but it's great to see, the more human side of these sumo wrestlers and see their motivations that push them forward. Mother is adorable too. Also learning a little bit more about like their relationships and stuff, like, classmates with Onosato. Imagine your kohai being the Yokozuna. But another sad story, another reason to support these guys. And then the final article I wanted to bring up was about Ikazuchito Oyakata's son. I think that's his name. I mean, it's Ikazuchi Stable. Ikazuchito, no, that's the other guy. Ikazuchi Stable. It is a rare breed. Son of Komusubi and 3-time women's champ joins Ikazuchi Stable. Haraku Kakizoe, the eldest son of Ikazuchi Oyakata, former Komusubi Kakizoe, announced his entry into the professional sumo. He will undergo the new apprentice physical examination on May 1st. During a press conference, he expressed his resolve. If I'm going to do this, I want to put my spirit into it and give it my absolute all. Born in 2007, Kakizoe had no sports background until middle school, spending most of his time gaming. And that's another funny thing, too. Like, his dad is a stable master. You would think, you know, and similar to like Koto Zakura's lifestyle, he would have been immediately pushed into sumo. Or, you know, the article we just read about Asasuryu and Asakoryu, they would have been pushed into sumo by their family, but I guess they were a little bit more free with him. Seeing the harsh training and his father's struggles with injuries, he admitted there was a time he hated sumo. However, while accompanying his father to Tochigi National Sports Festival, he was scouted by Michinori Yamada, the head coach of the prestigious Saitama Sakai High School Sumo Club. Though he initially joined just to build a body capable of doing sumo, he quickly fell for the sport's charm once he actually began competing. Struggling and growing with an elite group of experienced wrestlers, he won an internal tournament in the autumn of his second year, an event used to select participants for the following spring's National High School Invitational, which solidified his desire to turn pro. Last summer, he contributed significantly to his team at the Inter-High School Championships, going undefeated in 4 matches. He informed his father of his intention to go pro before graduation. His father is a former komusubi, and his mother, Emi Kakizoe, is a powerhouse in women's sumo, having won the All Japan Championship heavyweight title 3 times. Like, this mother is the heavyweight. She doesn't look that heavy. His younger sister, Seira, is also a member of the Saitama Sakai Sumo Club, having achieved results after only 3 years of training. There's no doubt he has inherited ultimate genes. While there are many sons of famous wrestlers, such as the Wakataka brothers or the 3 Izutsu brothers, it is rare for the mother to also have been a champion in the sport. At the press conference, Haruku revealed that his mother even taught him the dashinage, the pulling over arm throw technique. I think I'm blessed with my environment, but getting stronger is up to me. Following the physical on May 1st, he'll debut in May. Also debuting from Ikazuchi Stable is Christopher LeBille from Nippon Sports Science University, who qualified for Makushita 60 Tsukedashi. He will compete under the name Hono Ikazuchi. Haruku will compete under his family name Kakizoe. Regarding the pressure of being a second-generation wrestler, he stated firmly, "My father is his own person, and I am mine. I want to surpass him, but I don't feel the pressure from it." Modeling himself after Yokozuna Onosato, the 18-year-old shared his dream. "I want to be a wrestler who is like a firework." I feel like my worries have increased again, and I wonder if I'll be okay. It's half joy and half worry. I want him to become a wrestler who is both strong and wonderful human being. Regardless, I intend to train him strictly so he has no regrets. Shishi also celebrated the entry of his master's son, participating in the spring tour in Utsunomiya, Tochigi. Shishi commented on the news, "We are on good terms. We've wrestled for fun a few times. He's strong." With both Kakizoe and Christopher LeBille set to debut in the Natsu Basho, Shishi welcomed the news. "Glad there are so many new kids. Looks like we'll be able to have some great training sessions." Just want to point out the fact that they just kind of gloss over whoever the hell Christopher is. I'm interested in this Christopher guy. Who's Chris? I want to see Chris take the stage, but I guess we'll see that tomorrow, probably. And the fact that Shishi is the foreigner in the stable, that means Christopher is likely, the child of probably a foreigner that came to Japan and stayed in Japan. So, that's interesting to see. We'll see tomorrow. But that's one more guy to look out for. I don't know if I'm going to do an all 15 days video for him, but I will look out for the name Kakizoe. Oops, I did not want to click that. Not that anything popped up, but let me just write down the name Kakizoe really quick. Now we get to the meat and potatoes. We will get into... I gotta log in. Alright, let me log in. I don't want to dox myself, so let me log in. I don't know if I do dox myself when I log in. I do. Look at that. It's a good thing I brought my thing over here. There we go. So looking forward to seeing a couple of the new guys that are going to be entering the ring. Looking forward to continuing to support Ishizaki family. Let's see what we have going on for the Kachi Clash. Now, again, I was on the podcast, the New to Sumo podcast, just the other day. If you want to check them out, they were a lot of fun to be on. I should probably subscribe to their channel, huh? A lot of fun to be with, and it was a pretty good episode. But like I said, some of what we discussed is going to be out of date because Aonishiki and Onosato are not going to be there. But some of what we obviously did talk about was who we're going to be picking for the Kachi Clash. I did not do my Kachi Clash picks because I was still on the fence, and like I said during the episode, I want to wait for all that news to come out, the injury news, if there is going to be any. We do know that, where is he? I think he felt a Judio, right? Midori Fuji is going to be coming back. So Midori Fuji is going to be at hopefully full strength, but he will be competing all 15 days. We hope so. But as for me, it's funny. They pointed out that last tournament was the first tournament in like 3 years that I did not pick Kotonowaka on my Kachi Clash, and it was his best tournament in a little while. So it's like, am I holding back Kotozakura, or did I jinx Aonishiki that bad? So, looking at these first picks. 2 injuries, Onosato and Aonishiki. Hoshoryu, Kotozakura, and Kirishima. Kirishima has that ear injury. He says it's fine. We do know that, ear means balance, and if he's off balance, he's not going to do that well. Will he do better than Kotozakura and Hoshoryu? I mean, with Kotozakura going 10 wins at the last tournament, this might be an upward trend for him, and with 2 other powerhouses not going to be at the tournament, he should have, a couple more wins under his belt. He's going to be fighting those Maegashira 5s, maybe even Maegashira 6s. Kotozakura could be looking stronger. I mean, the same thing will go for Kirishima, but again, I don't know how much that ear is going to affect his balance, affect his sumo, so I think after the first few days we'll really see. But in terms of Kirishima, if we want to look at, that 15-day schedule, who he lost to on those last 2 days, he went 12-3, but losing to Aonishiki, there's one threat gone. He usually loses to him. Losing to Kotozakura, who he usually beats, that was Kotozakura really showing up. He did not fight Onosato, of course, but if you wanted to go back in his history against Onosato, he never wins against Onosato, so, 2 really difficult opponents for Kirishima are now out of the tournament. You could say the same thing for Kotozakura, for Hoshoryu, except Hoshoryu did have the advantage over Onosato, so it's not like it's a free win that's gone for him, but, it would have been a more likely win for him. All 3 of these guys are stronger now. Before Onosato and Aonishiki were ruled out, I did call that Atamifuji might actually be a dark horse and maybe even the favorite to win the tournament. But now that these 2 are out, Hoshoryu, Kotozakura, Kirishima have slightly easier schedules. I mean, every one of the Sanyaku has slightly easier schedules. People getting punished are Churana Umi, Fujiseiyun, Shodai, and Wakamoto Haru. So, for any of these 3 guys at the top, it should be their tournament to win. And most especially for Hoshoryu as the sole Yokozuna, who now has 1 monkey off his back in Aonishiki. And I mean, even though he did have the advantage over Onosato, it's still a really difficult opponent. This should be Hoshoryu's tournament to win. If not him, then at the very least, like a 13-2 playoff against one of the other 2 Ozeki is what should be on the cards for day 15. And I have the feeling that if Hoshoryu does not win this tournament, then it's likely he might not ever win a tournament. That is my hot take, which I know is not that hot, but when you consider the circumstances, look at what's going on around him here, this has to be a Hoshoryu win. If it's not a Hoshoryu win, then what are you doing, Hoshoryu? Like, maybe Kotosakura has another freak 14-1, and he has a 13-2 Jun Yusho. Maybe Kirishima pops off, goes 15-0, and Hoshoryu is 14-1. And, it's kind of forgivable at that point. But, if everything goes as it usually goes, Hoshoryu needs to win this tournament. It can't be anyone else. And if it is anyone else, he better pray it's an Ozeki so that the Sumo Association and all the fans and Asashoryu are not, like clawing at his back, basically. As for my pick this tournament, I originally was probably going to pick Onosato because Onosato at 90% strength is still better than everybody else practically. Mita will be back. That's actually some pretty good news. I'm gonna have to write that down. But for me personally, I think I have to go back to Kotosakura. He took an upturn at the previous tournament. He looked strong against, the winner, Kirishima, and rival Hoshoryu in those wins. He just cleans up that first week, and he's a contender. I said that I fell out of love with Kotosakura in the New to Sumo podcast. But I'm giving him another try here. I'm giving him another shot. If he can't do it, then he can't do it, Now for the Sekiwake and Komusubi. There's a very clear outlier here. A very clear least popular pick. And that is our boy Kotoshoho. Kotoshoho, I didn't even think he would make it to Sekiwake in the first place. And debatably does not belong at the rank. But, again, who knows, man? Like, he's 26 years old. He has a yusho under his belt. He didn't beat Hoshoryu or Atamifuji, but he did beat a beat-up Aonishiki. I guess he has that going for him. I feel like Kotoshoho is just going to get absolutely trounced. Wakataka Kage and Takayasu, they're known figures. They're known veterans. If you want to pick them for 7 wins, they're probably going to get you 7 or 8 wins. I don't think either of the Komusubi are going to be world beaters. Maybe a floor of 6 wins. But Takayasu, he's been sticking around. He's a bad rash. 7-8, 8-7, 8-7, 7-8. He's not leaving these Sanyaku ranks. He's been in the Sanyaku for a year. Even holding on with a 6-9. 10-5 after that tournament, too. But, he's not going to be a world beater. He's not going to get 10 wins. Wakataka Kage, like I said on the New to Sumo podcast, ever since that ACL tear, he did have that chance at Ozeki, but he just hasn't been the same. And even having an injury at the end of the last tournament, that's a bit of a question mark too. I don't really have confidence in Wakataka Kage. So for me, the only smart pick is Atamifuji. And I think the reason why he's going to be a dark horse for this tournament is the fact that it looks like he's finally coming into his own here. The past year alone, 2 Jun Yusho, the 12-3 playoff where he had 2 Kinboshi, losing to Aonishiki, who is out this tournament, lost to Aonishiki twice in that tournament, and now Aonishiki is out. Even the last tournament, we could take a look at his losses. Lost to Takayasu, who was on a losing streak that tournament, but it was the final day. He already had his Kachikoshi. Lost to Oho, who's still in the neighborhood. Fujinokawa is still in the neighborhood, but he usually beats him. Onosato, he was out for injury. It's an even matchup against Hoshoryu. Usually gets abused by Kirishima, but I think this is the tournament Atamifuji finally comes into his own. I think this 23-year-old, this young guy, has finally put it all together and knows how to put it together. We look at the year 2024 where he was in the joy for the entire year. 6-9, 8-7, 7-8, 7-8, 7-8, 8-7. And that's a lot of learning. That is a lot of experience being gained. He did get smacked down, but he jumped back up, got smacked down again, and these experiences got him to Komusubi, got him to Sekiwake now. And as the shin-Sekiwake, I feel like he has the chance to do something incredible. And that's something that's, again, we said on the New to Sumo podcast, they said, in 2024, you can kind of see it here. He was heavier, he was slower, but he's lost some of that weight. He's looking faster, he's looking stronger. And in my opinion, Atamifuji and Onosato have, like, perfect sumo bodies. They have incredible size, and now that Atamifuji is gaining speed, too, Atamifuji is looking destructive, and honestly, he is my favorite to win this tournament. I know I usually do that at the end, but I kind of wanted to get that out now. No matter who else I pick, Atamifuji is my favorite to win the tournament. Next up, we have Maegashira 1 through 5, who it is very difficult, even more difficult now, because it is guaranteed they are going to have to fight the Sanyaku Gauntlets. You know, back when Onosato and Aonishiki were still there, it's like, Maegashira 5, they do, but they don't sometimes have to fight, so picking Shodai might be a sneaky good play, but everyone in this area has to fight the Sanyaku Gauntlet now. And, you know, we have a couple of guys that are inexperienced, we have a couple of guys that are banged up, we have a couple of guys that just can't hang at this level anymore. For my money, you know I'm picking Fujinokawa. Even if Takanosho is in the same area, that means Princess is going to have to do her own Kachi Clash. And then she'll rub it in my face if Takanosho has a better record than Fujinokawa. But I am very high on Fujinokawa. Fujinokawa is easily now like my second, or at least tied for first, favorite sumo wrestler with Tobizaru, who you know I'm going to be picking later, but I'll get to that when I get to that. But Fujinokawa, he's fast, he's strong, he's exciting. He just needs to learn a little bit more about his opponents. And the unfortunate thing is, his opponents are learning more about him too. So this might be the tournament that he gets smacked around. Oh, and the baby's moving around.
It was Toby.
He just rolled over. Get both of them out of here. Go. Go. Get out. Go.
I didn't even rile him up. I started walking over him. I started getting excited.
Well, I think your other sister riled him up.
And then he backed into
the door, yeah. Anyway, Takanosho, he just kind of can't hang at these ranks anymore. 5'10", 5'10". Like, he can get up here, but he's just not up to speed. I wouldn't pick him. Yoshino Fuji is struggling this high, but he's still sticking around. It might be a situation like Atamifuji we saw, where he's gonna get beat up, but he's gonna stick around. I don't see him getting like more than 5 wins, or more than. Hold on, I don't see him getting less than 5 wins, but I feel like he might get beat up. Ichi Yamamoto, he's definitely gonna get beat up. He's definitely going to get beat up. Ichi Yamamoto. Hirata Umi. I still can't get a read on this guy either. 10-5 from Komusubi, but then smacked around 4-11, 4-11. He's clearly good enough to stay up here, but he's very hot and cold, and mostly cold. So, I think Hirata Umi's going to get beat up. Oho might be the only reasonable pick here, because again, he's stuck around for quite a while. He is older, he is more experienced, he is coming more into his style too. His style is becoming more recognizable, so you know, he is struggling 4-11, 7-8, but I feel like this is a good opportunity for him to bounce back. Maybe Oho. Daisho, I said during the podcast that he might be a sneaky good pick, but you know, now looking back at it, 7-8 Kinboshi, 7-8 Kinboshi, and sure, he is getting those Kinboshi off of Hoshoryu, and getting another Kinboshi off of Hoshoryu, but he clearly doesn't have the speed or the strength to really keep up with anybody else. His lower body just not having that strength anymore. I mean, it looks like a lot of these guys are going to go 6-7 wins. 6-7. Gon Oyama. He did have a good tournament, 10-5, but the last time he was this high, he went 1-14. But at the same time, you know, before that, 8-7, 7-8, like, again, that kind of sticking around, but I don't know. I think he's gonna get beat up too. Wakamoto Haru, you could usually expect him to be solid at these ranks, but last tournament 3-12, I think it's likely that this 3-12 was more of a freak accident than anything else, because look at the past year of results. He's been very consistent, 8-7, 8-7, 9-6, 6-9, 7-8, 9-6. Like, he has been very solid for a long time, even through injury. That 4-8-3 comes back next tournament 6-9, but then 11-4 from Maegashira 3. Arguably, I mean, 10 fighting wins is still really good. Next tournament, still 10 fighting wins. Maybe he just had a bad tournament. You know, he had a bad start, couldn't get it going, and then just stayed bad. I think Wakamoto Haru might be the best pick here if you want to try to win. Shodai, we joke around a lot, he's the Lord of Chaos, but the last time he was this high up the Banzuke, 4-11. The last time he was, before that, he went 10-5, and then from Komuzubi, 4-11. So, I mean, even last tournament, 2 Fusen victories over Onokatsu and Hakuno Fuji. It's like, well, he was mostly fighting down the Banzuke too, and look, losing to Asakoryu, losing to Asahakuryu, losing to Fuji Seiyun and Nishiki Fuji, but beating Daisho, beating, Tamawashi, although he was struggling too, beating Kotoshoho, who would then go 11-4, but at this high, I don't think Shodai is really going to have it. So this area is difficult because it is all guys that should be losing, and it's just a matter of trying to cut those losses. And who do you think is going to lose the least, basically? I feel like some people might pick Yoshino Fuji. I think Wakamoto Haru is probably the best pick. It's either Wakamoto Haru. Oho is a bit more high roll, but he could be another solid one too. I'm obviously going Fujinokawa. I love that guy. I want to see him succeed. I love to see him win. He is a lot of fun to watch. But Wakamoto Haru is probably the best pick. He's probably going to be the most popular pick too, so keep that in mind. Churano Umi, Fuji Seiyun, Chiyoshoma, Asakoryu, Oshoma, Asahakuryu, Abi, Nishiki Fuji, Asanayama, and Hakuno Fuji. Now, some of these guys are treading new waters. Some of these guys are at their career highs. Fuji Seiyun, Asakoryu, and Asahakuryu are at their career highs. We have no idea how they're going to perform up here. I don't think they're going to give us, Kusano-esque performances and keep flying up the Banzuke, but, you have to consider their Maegashira 6s might be a really difficult rank if they have to fight the Sanyaku, which that's going to be really bad for Fuji Seiyun. But for everyone else, like Asakoryu, Asahakuryu, Chiyoshoma, Oshoma, they're going to be fighting down the Banzuke. They're going to be fighting, the Maegashira 11 and 12 and 13, which, Asakoryu did have a good tournament last time out, but, it's 9-6, 9-6, 8-7. You got to ask yourself, is there going to be anyone else who might perform better than that? A question, maybe, or the answer is maybe, A lot of people like to point to Abi, but ever since, recovering from double elbows, he got injured last tournament, came back, looking good despite the fact that he had a fractured vertebrae. So, is he fully recovered from a fractured vertebrae? How do you fight through that kind of thing? I don't know, but he did it. If he's at full strength, we might see a 10-5, but again, he's really high roll. Someone like Chiyoshoma, the trickster, the Henka specialist, he's been up and down quite a lot recently, but you see that 4-11, 1-14 from Maegashira 9, and you're thinking, ugh, I don't know, I don't want to have a 1-14 on my card. And that being his floor, that's something you got to consider for Kachi Clash. We're not just trying to pick who's going to have a winning record. It's, what is their possible floor and what is their possible ceiling? For someone like Abi, the floor is 0 wins because he might get injured. For someone like Chiyoshoma, the floor is 1 win, as you can see right there. because he just might get outmatched by everyone around him. Thank you for your subscription as well, we're on. Like, we can look at Oshoma as well. Oshoma has just been struggling from these middle ranks in the first place. I don't think I trust him to really perform well. Asakoryu, like I said, coming off the back of some good tournaments. Asahakuryu, his stablemate, a similar thing, coming off the back of some good tournaments. Can he keep that momentum building? And he is very fresh to this top division, to the 15-day schedule in the first place. Like, he's only been in the top division for 4 tournaments now. This is going to be his 5th. He is still kind of an unknown factor. That might factor into him being a solid pick. Nishiki Fuji, on the other hand, he's been around for a while. He's been up and down. Career high Maegashira 3. Coming off the back of a 9-6. He's 29 years old. I don't really see his ceiling going back up that high to Maegashira 4, 5, 6. Maybe if he has a lucky Basho, but I don't think he's going to do that well. At the same time, I don't think he'll do that poorly either, so Nishiki Fuji could be a solid, safe pick. Akuno Fuji, on the other hand, he's been struggling with injury lately. 5'8", 5'6", I would not be confident in picking him, even if he does keep getting 5 wins. Because, again, in Gachi Clash, you have to try to maximize your wins, maximize your number of points. And, I mean, if you're looking at 5 points out of a possible 15, that's not a really good rate. You want someone with a higher win rate than that. So, Akuno Fuji is struggling with injury lately. I don't think I would pick him at all. We're really thinning this down to only like a couple of guys are pickable, Sanoyama, too. At this point, I think he's just too old to really hang. He's been against these lower-ranked guys for too long, for too many times. In his first comeback, he did come back very strong, but struggled with injury, fell back down again from Komusubi. I don't think he's going to make it back to Komusubi. He's struggling too much with this new fresh crop of guys at the bottom of the Banzuke. Like, look at the last tournament. Losing to Kinbozan, losing to the hurt Abi, losing to Yoshino Fuji, losing to Toki Hayate and Roga, Tobizaru even defeating him, Fuji Seiyun defeating him. He does have, the bonus that he doesn't have to fight Asakoryu and Asahakuryu, so he's going to be fighting more guys lower ranked than him, but he doesn't have the speed to keep up with these other top division guys anymore. So I don't think Sanoyama's going to be a good pick. And if you really wanted to boil it down, to narrow it down, it looks like Asahakuryu and Asakoryu might be the guys you want to bet on in this area. I personally like Asakoryu more because he is that muscle man type. Fuji Seiyun I also like a lot because he is a pretty big unknown. And then again for Churano Umi, just fell from Maegashira 2, 4, and 11, and although he is at Maegashira 6, where he should be able to bounce back, because of the injuries to the two Yokozuna, or to the two Ozeki and Yokozuna, he might have to fight through the gauntlet, and if he does, even just a couple of those guys, he's going to get smacked around. So that really limits his ceiling, how many wins he might be able to get. So overall, I think Asakoryu and Asahakuryu are probably your best options. Again, Abi is too high roll, Chiyoshoma is too high roll, Asanoyama can't keep up with the speed, Hakuno Fuji too injured. I'm going with Asakoryu, and I would have anyway, because he's the muscle man, and I like the muscle man. So I'm going to be voting for Asakoryu here. Now, for the bottom of the Banzuke, on the podcast I said that this area was a little bit more difficult because all of these guys are fun. Like, all of these guys are interesting in their own ways, and you have really good reasons to pick any of them. So, like, Ura, Kinbozan, Shishi, Toki Hayate, Kotoeho, Tamawashi, Mitake Umi, Roga, Tobizaru, Osho Umi, Wakanosho, Ryuden, and Fuji Ryoga. Now, the thing is, I'm going to start with the guys that you probably shouldn't pick because they can't keep up anymore, and that is a short list. Ryuden has been struggling I think he's just a little bit too old now. I don't see him having a very good record, even from Maegashira 16. Shishi is at his plateau. I don't think Shishi is going to be able to break through Maegashira 11, Maegashira 12. He seems to struggle at these ranks, and although last tournament he was experimenting with things, trying new things, didn't really work. Don't know what to expect from this tournament from him. If it's more experimentation, then I expect him to lose. But otherwise, even fighting straight up, this is his peak, this is his plateau, and I don't have confidence he'll break through it right away. Not right now. Mitakayumi, in general, has just been a little too slow, a little not strong enough. I don't have too much confidence in Mitakayumi as well. The rest of the guys, the ones that I didn't mention, those are all the fun picks. Those are all the best possible picks. Uda, he's the technician. He's a sensation. But I did see news that he disbanded his fan club. And that's a very kind of worrying thing, because why would someone disband their fan club while they're still an active wrestler? Is he preparing to retire? Or is it just, the pressures of the fan club were too extra and he doesn't want to deal with that kind of thing anymore? So, for Uda, I do wonder if he's prepping for retirement. He is 33 years old. He's had a pretty damn good career up here. But 5-10 at the previous tournament, as fun as he is to watch and as much as I like him, I don't know anymore. Keen Bolzan. Keen Bolzan is another enigma, because 4-11 from Maegashira 8. And he's so powerful, he's so big and strong, but sometimes he's just so slow, 9-6 at the last tournament. I mean, he could be 9-6, he could be 6-9. Who knows? Toki Hayate, as fast as the wind at the Tachi-ai, smacked around at his career high of Maegashira 9. He'll be able to bounce back. I think he'll be able to bounce back. Kotoeho, another small, stocky muscle man. I like watching him wrestle. 9-6 at the last tournament. He's going to be fighting largely the same guys. I think Kotoeho can keep moving up as well. Tamawashi smacked around at the last tournament, at the last 2 tournaments, but from this low of a rank, I feel like he needs to bounce back. He has to bounce back, and it's only natural that he might bounce back. If he doesn't bounce back, and he gets another, strong losing record, I mean, the time has been coming for a while. He's 41 years old, I wouldn't blame him for getting another losing record. I just hope it's a 7-8, but at the same time, you should be able to show these youngins a thing or two again. Roga. Now, I thought last tournament he would be able to break through this plateau as well. He seems to have the same problem as Shishi, where he can't break through the Maegashira 11, Maegashira 10 rank. Maegashira 9 West is his highest, or Maegashira 8 rather is his highest, but even then, 7-8 all the way back then. He's low enough that he should have a good tournament here. Last time he was Maegashira 14, 9-6. I expect that from him. I expect him to bounce back. Tobizadu, maybe it's his time too. 34 years old. He's slower. He's weaker. He's not as agile. He hasn't even been flying out of the ring. I love you, Tobizadu. And I'm going to pick you, but I don't think his ceiling is that high. I think everyone else I mentioned so far is probably a better pick. Oshoumi. Oshoumi, rough tournament last time, 5-10, but, after a rough debut, 7-8, went 10-5. I think he'll be able to bounce back. Will it be another 10-5? It could be. I think so. Wakanosho making his debut in the top division after a 12-3 yusho and an 11-4 playoff loss. He might be one of the best picks. He's kind of an unknown factor. He's going to light up the world, probably get another 10 wins here. Kind of like a lot of the other debutantes do when they make their way up. And of course, Fujiryoga. Fujiryoga went 7-8 in his debut, holding on to the top division by the skin of his teeth. I feel like now that he is up to speed with the top division, he should be able to get a winning record here. Winning record is not, the strongest record. Like I said, there are probably other guys that are going to get their 10 wins, like Wakanosho, like Osho Umi. Maybe even Roga could reach 10 wins. But for my money, of course I have to pick Tobizaru. He's still my favorite guy. And my total picks, Kotozakura, Atamifuji, Fujinokawa, Asakoryu, and Tobizaru. That is my Kachi Clash, and I know a bunch of people are going to be asking me about that. So we will get to that eventually. And of course, I'm in Judio now. I'm Judio 7. I've had a bad year. But as far as it goes on the YouTube side, we are going to start wrapping it up by showing you the schedule for the first 2 days. Tomorrow, Hoshoryu versus Takeyasu. Kotozakura versus Fujinokawa. Kirishima versus Takanosho. Atamifuji, Ichi Yamamoto. Yoshinofuji, Kotoshoho. Wakatakakage, Hirado Umi. Daisho, Oho. Wakamotoharu, Gonoyama. Churano Umi, Shodai. Chiyoshoma, Fuji Seiyun. Oshoma, Asakoryu. Abi, Asahakuryu. Asanoyama, Nishiki Fuji. Ura, Hakuno Fuji. Shishi, Kimbozan. Kotoeho, Toki Hayate. Mitakeumi Tamawashi. Mitakeumi better win that one. He is 29-9 in the head-to-head. Tobizaru Roga, Wakanosho Osho Umi, and Fujiryoga Ryuden. Then on day 2, we will be seeing Hoshoryu Fujinokawa, Kirishima Yoshino Fuji, Kotozakura Wakatakakake, Takanosho Kotoshoho. Kotoshoho has the advantage there, surprisingly. 8-6. Atamifuji Hirado Umi. Ichi Yamamoto Takeyasu. Gonoyama Oho. Daisho Wakamotoharu. Fuji Seiyun Shodai. Churano Umi Chiyoshoma. Chiyoshoma 4-1 in that head-to-head. Abi Asakoryu. Oshoma Asahakuryu. Ura Nishiki Fuji. Ura 6-0 in that head-to-head. Asanoyama Hakuno Fuji. Toki Hayate Kinbozan. Kinbozan 5-0. Shishi versus Kotoeho. Roga Tamawashi. Mitakeumi Tobizaru. Tobizaru 10-5 in that head-to-head. Osho Umi Ryuden. And Wakanosho versus Fujiryoga for those first 2 days of the tournament. Like I said, this tournament should absolutely be Hoshoryu's to win, with Onosato and Aonishiki sitting out. But Kotozakura taking a turn for the better with 10 wins at the last one. Kirishima surging. Should be a very competitive tournament. That is going to be it from us on the YouTube side. Over on Twitch, we're going to continue watching with the ring purification ceremony and the a training video or two, depending on how long I want to stay awake. It is currently 10:27, so probably not that much longer. Although I got to stay up until 4 a.m. for the next 2 weeks anyway. So that's going to be it from us on the YouTube side. Be sure to check us out tomorrow, same time, same place. And be sure to check out, if you want some additional perspectives, the New to Sumo podcast that I joined this past week. They are also lurkers in our own chat, or my own chat here. So be sure to give them a good look. We will catch you cats on YouTube later. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children